there, welcome to the kitchen at Westminster. Today we're going to demonstrate how to make an oven-baked pancake, and this is a perfect recipe for the Saving Time series because it's a huge time saver. It's instead of having to stand at the stove and bake one pancake at a time, flipping them, all that, you do one pan of pancakes into the oven, 20 minutes later you've got enough for 12 pancakes. It's easy to make, stuff you're going to have in the house, perfect for Shrove Tuesday because it's a pantry recipe. So, right from the start, we're going to go with our dry ingredients mixed into the bowl. Super easy. I've got a half cup measure here. I need 1.5 cups of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. You could use whole wheat if you wanted to, or if you have a gluten-free blend that you like to use, go ahead and use that. Won't matter what kind you use. This is, as I said, just an all-purpose flour. So that's 1 cup. And one more for 1.5. And just smooth the top. I usually just use whatever I've got handy. You can use a knife if you don't have a scoop in your flour box. And then that's all done. And then we need some salt. Think about a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of salt, depending how you do it. If you have a shaker, give it a little twirl. I usually just kind of do this, and I figure that looks like about a teaspoon. And in it goes. Baking powder. We need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Whichever brand you use is going to be fine. And you don't need to be overly fussy about leveling it off. This is cooking. This is cooking. It's all got to go in, but we don't need to be too concerned. And finally, 3 tablespoons of sugar. More or less as you wish. If you use a sweetener instead of sugar, same amount. Just go with the equivalent. So 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of sugar. And that's it for our dry ingredients. And they can go like that. And just take your spatula, give it a little mix around just to blend it. We're going to stir it more later. You don't need to be too fussy. This pancake, I love this pancake. Really low oil and great use for 1 overripe banana. If you've got lots of overripe bananas, you can make banana bread, you can make banana muffins. All those times you only have 1 ripe banana, you need a place for it. This pancake is it. So you're just going to split up your banana. Now at this point, use the biggest measuring cup you have. I like to get my big 4-cup measuring cup out. It's got room to stir. If you use the smaller one, you'll have room, but it'll be splashing, making a mess. It's a hassle you don't need. Get your biggest measuring cup, break your banana up in there. That'll go into our green bin later. Get a fork and start mashing. The riper the banana, the better. It's going to mash up like nothing. And just give it a good mash. You want to make sure there's no bits in there, so you don't have to get too carried away, but just so it's smooth. Once you've mashed it a little bit, you can start giving it a stir. I always just use my fork. The thing about overripe bananas is, as well, you can always take the peel off, wrap them in some cellophane, and then double wrap them into some foil. Pop them in the freezer. You'll always have some ripe bananas ready for baking with, and you never get any waste that way. Now the reason I had you put it into a measuring cup is because we're going to add milk so that it's 1 2/3 total. And the reason we do that separately is not all bananas are the same size. Riper ones will mash a little further. So we start with the banana and then add our milk to get to 1 2/3. So, there I am. And sometimes you might need a little more or a little less milk. And then give that a little mix just to blend it. And then what we're going to do is we've got 2 eggs. So this is so easy, honestly. 1 egg, and that'll go to our compost pail. And a 2nd egg. In we go. And then give this a nice, I always start slow, break up the yolk a little bit. And then once you're going, you can give it a good turn. But see what I mean? You want that bigger cup. If you had a 2-cup measure, it would be practically full and splashing. That just slows you down. Why do that? Give it a good stir. You just want to make sure you don't have any big bits of yolk left in there. And then we're just going to use a little bit of oil. So vegetable oil, whichever kind of oil you buy. You don't need to go to the expensive olive oil. Any kind of oil will do. And mind allergies if you choose a nut oil. And we're going to do 4 tablespoons. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 tablespoons of oil. And then that can just go there for now. Give it another little mix. Too easy. Too easy. We're practically done. This is so simple. So we're just going to give that another little stir, blend it, set that aside, and then all of this will go right in here with our dry ingredients that we've already measured. All of it in. Use your spatula to get it nice and clean. You don't want to leave any of it behind. And set that to the side. Get a whisk. Whisk is going to make sure you don't end up with any lumps in your batter. Sometimes flour, if it gets any amount of moisture in it, it can get some lumpy bits in there. By using a whisk, you're going to get it nice and smooth and make sure that doesn't happen. Keep in mind, though, that we have banana in there, so sometimes there are a few little lumps in the batter, but they're banana. And give it a good turn. Basically, you want to make sure that all of the dry is gone from the sides of the bowl. And well mixed. And then give that a little bump like that. Now, this is completely optional. I had some blueberries, so I thought, you know what? And think in terms of half a cup to a cup. Really, you could use anything. You can use raspberries, blueberries, whatever you've got. You could dice some apple if you wanted to. Anything at all, or nothing at all. You choose. It's your pancake. So into the bowl it goes. And then you just want to use your spatula for this, or you're going to break up your berries. So just give them a little push around. Just like that. So that they're just in there and coated, spread around. All of that can go to the side, and it's that easy. We're ready to go. We're going to put this in the oven and sit down. No more standing at the stove with the oil hissing and spitting and making a mess and making you nervous. Who needs that? This is way more fun. Now the cook relaxes too. Now I think on the recipe it says to butter the dish, and that's of course the easiest way to do it, but if you have parchment, you know what, it makes cleanup a breeze. To put your parchment, get it to hold still while you put your batter in. Take a damp cloth, wipe the dish, just give it a little wipe. You can even just splash a little water in there if you want to. And then that will just hold it still while you get your batter in. So then what you do, batter is going straight in here. And use your spatula to really clean that dish out. You don't want to waste any at this point. Now this recipe will cut into 12 good-sized pancakes. If you want more, make 2 pans. And so you can easily fit 2 9x13 pans into your oven at a time. So however many you think you need. I make this recipe a lot, and every time I have 1 overripe banana. And then I cut them and I freeze them individually, and it's a quick, easy snack for breakfast any day of the week instead of buying, you know, boxed frozen ones. It's much nicer, and it uses stuff you have in the house that otherwise might go to waste. No reason you couldn't use frozen berries in this recipe either. Truly, that's all there is to it. We're going to pop it in the oven now. I've already preheated the oven to 350 here, and away we go. This oven has a super strong door. Armstrong, holy mackerel, hang on a second. I'm not going to leave that there in case it comes down. Oh, hot dog. That's going to make me strong. And then into the middle of the oven is best. And then it doesn't brown up too much on the bottom. And then give it a good tight squeeze. And we need 20 to 25 minutes on the timer. You notice I put it in a Pyrex dish. I prefer that because then it doesn't darken. If you use a dark pan, your cake bottom, your pancake bottom in this case, will get darker. So I like, for the point of this meal, I like the lighter color, so I use a glass dish. If you only have a dark one, turn the oven to 325 instead. and that'll stop it from getting too dark on the bottom. It's just a visual, but it's nice to, if you can make it prettier, go ahead and do it. People taste with their eyes first. And that's it. So you can use the next 20, 25 minutes to wash up these very few prep dishes. I mean, what? Look, this is nothing. We've done nothing. It's too easy. Wash up your prep dishes, sit down. Pancakes, maybe you want to cut up some strawberries or something like that to put on top of the pancakes. Certainly, I like my maple syrup room temperature, so bring it out now and get it on the table. It's hard to say what your family likes on their pancakes. You know best. Get out your favorite toppings. A little bit of honey is nice too. Even a dollop of yogurt it makes them nice. Makes them feel like dessert almost with the yogurt on top. And now we wait. That's all that there is to it. I'll see you when we're done with the oven. Okay, time's up. And I'm just pulling it out a little. I've got a fork. If you have a toothpick, even better. Stick it in, make sure it comes out clean. We're good. We're good. You're just making sure there's no big crumbs stuck to it, or certainly nothing wet. And you can see, now this is a convection oven, and so that's why we've got a bit of a dome happening there. The fan does that in convection ovens. A normal oven, it'll be more flat. And then we'll just do that, and here's this serious oven again. There, it's easier to close than open. And that's it. We're gonna let it cool for a second, maybe 2 minutes. We'll tip it out, that'll be it. This is too nice. We can give it a little poke, just like a cake. You're just making sure you don't sink. And then you know it's done. If you have any kind of tray at home, will do. Even a cookie sheet that you've got. Anything at all that you can fit right over the pan. So that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to put it right over the pan. And then, this is even a little big. I'm going to turn it this way so I can easily get a hold of the handles. And then just 1, 2, 3, flip. And down it goes. If you used parchment, you barely have to clean your pan. Even nicer. And otherwise, it will lift out even with a little bit of butter in there. If you use parchment, take it off right away so that it doesn't let the steam hold in there, because that creates condensation. And where there's berries, it's going to stick a little. Not a problem if you didn't use them. And there it is, coming off. And there we go. Let this sit for 2 minutes or so before you try to cut it. Sorry about that. There, that's all done. Pancake's finished. And let it sit just for a minute, because like a cake, if you cut it too soon, it'll crumble and fall apart on you. Just give it a few, 2 minutes will do. By the time everyone shows up at the table, the pancake's ready to go. Bon appetit.